We back. It's Taco Tuesday edition of the Floating Head Chronicles, and we have Andrew Tanner and Alexander Skelton. Now, if you guys haven't heard of this story, this one is wild. Now, the mother of the boys, Tanya, was married to the father, John Skelton, and she said their relationship was fairly normal until about 2010, when one day he decided to take the boys out of school and take them on a surprise vacation without telling people and just up and go to Florida. Well, Tanya followed suit behind, got the police involved in Jacksonville, and was able to get her kids back. So later on, they end up deciding to come to an agreement. He gets the kids for Thanksgiving, and she's going to pick them up the next day. And this is still in 2010. Now, on Thanksgiving, she wasn't able to get a hold of John. John was not returning her messages, and she wanted to find out when she could pick the boys up. He didn't respond, so she freaked out. She ends up driving over to his house and then realizes that the boys are not there. Nobody's home, as a matter of fact. So she starts even getting more scared and decides, I'm going to check the hospitals in the local area. And when she went to the hospital, John was being treated for a broken ankle. Now, he said it happened while he was trying to self-unalive. And when they asked where the kids were, he stated he gave them up to an organization to keep them from their mother because she was abusive. And no one has found these kids ever since. They've been missing ever since. Not one sighting, nothing located. And we know this guy knows where these kids are. Now, John lied to the police multiple times where the kids were, and none of the stories were adding up. So he ended up serving 15 years for unlawful imprisonment charges connected to the kids' disappearance. Now, just because he failed to return the kids back and something is suspect, they don't have enough to charge him with the unalivings because they've never located anything involving the children. So he is scheduled to be released November of 2025. Now, here's the boys' mother, Tanya, and she's pleading with the court to legally declare these children deceased so she can have some closure. Actually put a date on their tombstones and be able to just close this up. This is 2025. These boys have been missing for long enough, and this poor woman has been through a lot. Now, John had told the FBI that she will get the children back once they all graduate. But the boys are all over 18 at this point. And she's telling the judge, we may not have their bodies, but they mean something. Let me have this closure because I can't do this anymore. Now, she goes on to explain all the countless leads that they went through. They even found a baseball that was in an Ohio campground, and John's phone had pinged there. It gave some signals off somewhere in the middle of the night and came back empty. They also found some bones in 2018 in Montana, but that also was a dead end. So every time that something gets brought back up, she gets her hopes up, and there's just nothing. Now, here's good old John Skelton. God, why does he look like this? Why do they all look like Manson? Either way. Now, when they went to his house was a mess. Broken glass, severed appliance cords, and a noose hanging from the second floor. They stated there was a Bible with an open verse circled, but I don't see anything further to back that up or what the verse was. But there was a note, "You will hate me forever, and I know this." And that was from the FBI finding that while searching his house. He had also told the church pastor at his church that he sent them home when he had asked him, "Where's the boys?" I sent them home. So to me, that just sounds like an admission of guilt, but still have not located these children. Now, of course, this lunatic had Googled crazy stuff on his computer, like if rat poison can unalive somebody. He also Googled how to break and spinal cords. If that's not suspect, I don't know what is, but 15 years because they have no bodies. Now, of course, he was questioned multiple times by FBI, by law. I mean, he's been incarcerated the whole time, and they keep going back and asking him the questions. Anytime they talk about the boys, he shuts down and he will not talk. He will tell you anything else that you want to hear, but anything involving the boys is no. They've already stated while incarcerated, he's literally trusts nobody. He hangs out by himself. Trusts no one. Now, I just did a Google search to find out where the FBI stated his phone had pinged between where he lived in Morenci and Williams County. And that's like an 18-hour and 41-minute difference. But somewhere between 4 a.m. and 6:46 a.m., he was pinged along the route. Now, he had told cops to check an old school, saying the kids were safe. They're wrapped in blankets with their PJs on, and cops found nothing. They also were told to check a dumpster at a restaurant in Ohio. They brought the cadaver dogs and nothing. No hits, nothing. He had even at one point told them to check like the Amish community because there was a man that's very famous that is able to locate people, and they actually brought him in. And this guy gets white as a ghost and does not want to talk to this man at all. So they're thinking that maybe while he was incarcerated, he saw the show and just thought he would just throw a name out there and the cops weren't going to try to bring this guy to find out where these children are. Now, back in 2022, I feel so bad for Tanya. A guy came forward stating that he was Alexander, her son. So they did a DNA test on the guy, find out that he's like not even the right age, is 21, and he just has mental illness and is fascinated with missing people, but with no match, so she was back in the dark again. Now, the weirdest thing, on his computer, they also found that he had created this email address, some girl named Joanne Taylor. It was set up with his IP address, so they think that he created an email and was trying to like portray to be somebody else. I don't know if that was part of the plan or whatever happened, but that person never existed. So then they were just kind of stuck at, all right, we're never going to get answers of what really happened. And then until something turns up that's a hit, there's nothing. So 15 years is all this guy is going to get unless like some bodies turn up. I mean, we all would hope to God these kids are alive, but since 2010, and the fact of all this weirdness that this guy's, said and done, and the fact that he tried to unalive himself and failed at that, I really just don't have high hopes, sadly, about it. It makes my heart hurt, but I definitely don't think that they're alive either. I mean, after all the cadaver dogs and everybody that got involved in the search after all these years, chances are like none unless they're being like kept in a basement somewhere. So sad. Now, of course, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children stepped in, and they've been consistently updating photos of what the boys might look like today. And the mom at the hearing, it was heartbreaking to hear. She got up on that stand and, she would smile occasionally, but as she described her children, Andrew, smart as a whip, who never met a video game he couldn't beat. Alex, an inquisitive boy who loved tinkering and was a pint-sized ladies' man. And Tanner, her baby, who was so excited just to have started big school like his brothers. If that's not heartbreaking for this mother, I don't know what is. But I'm really just hoping for some help for Tanya. I mean, everybody wants closure, and after all this time, it's that hope for finding them is just gone. And then even when you do find them, there are whole other people at this point. I hope that she gets some closure. My heart goes out to Tanya. Now, I do want to put this out here. If anybody who is thinking of self-harm, you matter. Please use this Lifeline 988 anytime, day or night, or chat online, and you could text the crisis text line 24/7 confidential support. If you guys need some help, please seek it the correct way. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know if you want a part 2. Have a good night, y'all.